I would just point out that I've had a chance now to review what Hunter Biden said in his press conference, and I think he made an interesting statement. He said his father was not financially involved in the business. And I think that qualifier, the word financially, is important because, once again, it shows another change in this story. First it was no involvement, then no, I never talked to anyone, and then we find out about the dinners, the meetings, the phone calls, and everything else. Now it's okay, he wasn't involved in the business financially. I think that is important. It's one of the reasons we want to talk to Hunter Biden. Second thing I would say is this: in a few hours, I think the House of Representatives is going to pass the impeachment inquiry, and that is an important step. If you talk to any scholars in this, I think we could proceed as we did under Speaker McCarthy, where he announced it. But this is an important step. The impeachment power resides solely with the House of Representatives. If a majority of the House now says we're in an official impeachment inquiry as part of our constitutional duty to do oversight, that carries weight. That's going to help us get these witnesses in. And maybe most importantly, regarding this morning's activities, this is the argument that the White House and Hunter Biden's counsel used to say he shouldn't come. Okay, we disagree. We thought he should have been here. But when we take that vote this afternoon, what's our argument going to be then? We think he should come in. And if he doesn't, we're going to move forward with contempt proceedings. There's a process we have to follow, but we plan to do that.
One thing Hunter Biden said this morning was Republicans have mocked his addiction.
I have not.
For Chairman Comer or Congressman, what do you think of that idea that he's saying you guys are mocking addiction?
We've never mocked his addiction. Again, this is an investigation of Joe Biden. Hunter Biden's a key witness because we have a simple question, and the majority of Americans have a question. What did the Bidens do to receive tens of millions of dollars from our enemies around the world? That's a simple question. Every American wants to know. What did you do to receive the money? And we also want to know what role Joe played because, quite frankly, it's hard for me to believe, I'll speak for myself, that all these oligarchs and the Chinese Communist Party were wiring Hunter Biden millions of dollars because they liked him, because he added value to something. We believe, as what Devin Archer testified in the transcribed interview, that they were selling the brand and Joe Biden was the brand. And we believe that Joe Biden's known about this all along because he hasn't been honest with the American people. As Chairman Jordan said, his story continues to change. In the very beginning, when we launched this investigation, Joe Biden said he never met with any of these individuals. Now we know he met with all of these individuals. The narrative when we started this investigation was that no money ever transferred to the Bidens while Joe Biden was vice president. Now we know a huge percentage of the money transferred while Joe Biden was vice president. The majority of the shell companies were incorporated while Joe Biden was vice president. So we have a lot of questions about some very concerning transfers. That's why we have the thousands of pages of bank records. We've been very transparent with the media. This has been, I think, the most transparent political or congressional investigation since I've been in Congress for 7 years. We've produced 4 bank memorandums with specific bank statements. I mean, this is a concern. This is about public corruption at the highest levels. And, the president's son does not get to set the rules. I mean, he's had a pretty good run with the Department of Justice, with the IRS, and with the FBI. But these 2 committees are going to hold firm. We have taken steps to go by the book in this investigation. Now we're in the phase where we do the depositions. And, what he did today is unacceptable.
Some Republicans I talked to in the committee say they do think the evidence is already there. They feel like they've seen enough to actually file articles of impeachment. But you two, Chairman, do you feel like you've seen enough now?
I've said all along, I think the evidence is compelling. But we still need to talk to Mr. Schwerin, Mr. Walker, Mr. Bob Alinsky, Kevin Morris, Jim Biden, Hunter Biden. We need to talk to the 2 individuals who are part of Blue Star Strategies, Sally Painter and Ms. Tramontano. So those are people we need to talk to. We think with the vote this afternoon, we get those individuals in a more timely fashion, and we get the documents we want. And I would still go back to this. 1 hour ago, I think the biggest takeaway was the statement from Mr. Biden where he said, my father was not financially involved in the business. That is a huge change, which means he's involved. I think that's how anyone with common sense would read it. He's been involved, just not financially. That is a huge departure from everything they've said now for the last 3.5 years. So, as the chairman pointed out, the White House's story has changed multiple times. The Justice Department story has changed multiple times on how they handle this investigation. But the story that hasn't changed, the testimony that has been consistent and stood up to cross-examination, is the 2 whistleblowers. Their story has not changed, and frankly, it's been buttressed and reinforced by we've done 8 different depositions of people involved in the investigation at the Justice Department, the Hunter Biden investigation, and none of them have refuted what those guys say. So over time, it just keeps changing from the White House, and this statement today, I think, is the biggest news of the morning, I guess, along with the fact that he didn't show up, which he's supposed to do. Thank you all very much. We got to go.